the first of two Masonic buildings on 16th Street, the Scottish Rite Order of Masonry. This particular building is for the 32nd degree Masons of the Scottish Rite Order. So if you look above the doorway, you'll see a double-headed eagle, and above the heads of the eagles is an equilateral triangle with the number 32 inside. So one of the reasons for the double-headed eagle is that the eagle, the head to the left is looking back toward the past, the head to the right is looking forward to the future, and the equilateral triangle represents the present moment. So the purpose of this organization is to teach their members knowledge of the past in the present moment so that they can determine their future. And that's what all free people are supposed to do. Preserve your history, treasure your history, pass it on to your children so your children can create their future. That to me is the greatest expression of freedom. So the architect who designed this building knew that Masonry traced its origins back to ancient Kemet, and so he incorporated elements of Kemetic temple construction in the creation of this temple. The temples of Kemet have an outer pylon, a brick wall, one door in the center, which is a ceremonial door that is only used during certain times of the year, but the functioning door is around the corner. The front facade of the building is a cube that is 70 feet high, 70 feet wide, and 70 feet deep. And we all know what the number 7 represents, right? Okay. But what also is significant about this building is that every aspect of this building has symbolic significance. Even something as simple as the steps. You notice the steps advance in a series of 3 steps, 5 steps, 7 steps, 9 steps. The first 3 steps represent the blue house, where a person becomes a master mason. And then they continue up the next 5 steps, which takes them up to the 8th degree. Next 7 steps, which takes them up to the 15th degree. Next 9 steps, which takes them up to the 24th degree. 24th degree, 24 meridian lines around the world. So that you are supposed to enter this lodge with a certain level of knowledge so that you are able to understand and appreciate the information that's going to be given to you on the other side of the door. Even the door to the temple has symbolic significance. The proportions of the door to this Masonic temple are the same as the proportions to the doors of the temples in ancient Kemet. That is, the height of the door is twice the width of the door. And that proportion is equal to the mathematical equation for pi to 4 decimal points. So again, and if you think about the Greek symbol for pi, it looks like a doorway.
What is that? Is your horse?
Oh.
Pi?
Oh, come on now. But if you think in terms of the temple is a doorway to knowledge. So it's a place of learning, it's a university, a place where people are taught the knowledge of the universe so that we can find our proper place on earth within the universe and live meaningful and productive lives. But the most important aspect of this temple are the 2 bronze plaques on either side of the doorway. So let's walk up the steps and I'll explain to you the significance of those 2 bronze plaques. Okay. The inscription on the left side of the doorway reads Ex Oriente Lux, which means from the east comes the light. And if you think about the east is the Orient. In my hometown, Chicago, the name of the most prestigious Egyptological institution in Chicago and maybe even the United States is the Oriental Institute. And so that's where they study Kemet.
You usually Oriental, you think like Asian.
Well, you think the East. And so what you're focusing on specifically is the knowledge, the science, the mysteries of the East. So Egypt is in the East. Egypt is in the Orient. And so what this inscription means, Ex Oriente Lux, from the East comes the light. Light is a metaphor for knowledge. You think in school, a teacher may say that the student is bright or brilliant. So light is a metaphor for knowledge. So what this inscription implies is from Kemet comes the knowledge. And we can see here in this diagram reference to Kemet. We see here water, wavy lines, which represent the Nile River. Right. We see Khepre rising on the east bank of the Nile River. The light coming from the east. Over here on the right side of the doorway is the inscription Ex Occidente Lex, which means from the west comes the law. The east is Kemet, and the West in this instance is Europe. So Europeans generally governed by the rule of law, and they use the laws to influence, to control the people that they discover, the people that they conquer, the people that they enslave, but they govern by the rule of law. And we also notice here the West also represents our men. And so we see here the rays of our men setting in the West behind this six-pointed star. So this six-pointed star is known by different names. Jewish people may refer to it as the Star of David. Muslims refer to it as the Seal of Solomon. But in ancient Kemet, this symbol was known as Sepedet. Sepedet, we know better by the Greek name Sirius. Sepedet is the star system that is associated with the Set, or Isis. We also know that Sepedet is a binary star system, two stars rotating on their orbit around each other. So, in essence, what we now know is that Sepedet was associated with a Set and Heru, a Set and her son Heru. So we can interpret this six-pointed star as two equilateral triangles superimposed upon each other. The triangle pointing up represents masculine energy associated with Heru, associated with the sun, fire, and electricity. The pyramid pointing down, the triangle pointing down, is associated with the Set and is tied to feminine energy that's connected with the moon and water and magnetism. So that symbolically, the superimposition of these two pyramids on each other actually represent the balance and harmony of the masculine and feminine, fire and water, electric and magnetic energy that governs our physical universe. So it's a matter of understanding the principles of Ma'at and the principles that govern all aspects of life, and how you can use that knowledge in order to better express life, whether you're in a masculine vehicle or a feminine vehicle. They both are dependent on each other. They both are dependent on each other. So if you look